This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Prevention of fire hazards is an essential task for any organization or building for that matter. However, it can be particularly significant for workplaces due to the losses it can cause. This fire safety essay will explore how the danger can be prevented. Any essay on fire safety should start by clarifying why the problem can prove to be disastrous. In the workplace, the losses due to conflagration can be regarded in terms of property damage and loss of lives. However, most people do not worry about material loss because it is easy to replace. Life is precious. In most situations, fire arises from avoidable situations. Additionally, some are caused by unavoidable circumstances, such as lightning. This fire prevention essay will focus on safety measures that organizations can adopt to prevent the occurrence of fire-related incidents. Recent fire incidences have revealed that most organizations do not have a fire prevention and detection program. While the role of fighting fire is designated to firefighters, organizations should do whatever it takes in their capacity to ensure the fire is avoided. This is because firefighters always come in when the situation is out of control. Fire detection and prevention programs provide guidelines to all employees to empower them to detect a fire early enough to take the necessary precautions. Besides, it helps the workforce understand how they should carry themselves in the event of a fire. For instance, the organization educates the employees on how to use fire extinguishers and emergency exits. Employers should include regular orientation periods to ensure that the employees are familiar with the structures that are within the organization's close proximity. This should include fire drills to evaluate an organization's level of preparedness in handling disasters. It is essential to use the drills to identify areas that need improvement. For instance, if the emergency exit is not clear, the management should clear all the possible barriers. Also, management should ensure the firefighting equipment is in good working condition. Moreover, there should be appropriate signage to direct people to the emergency exit and give warnings concerning areas prone to fire, probably due to combustible substances. Similarly, workers should handle combustible materials, such as propane, with a lot of care because they can burst into flames from a slight inducement. This implies that they should keep such materials from possible sources of ignition, such as electricity and smoke. In addition, such materials should include warning labels so that whoever is handling them, he/she is aware of the potential hazard. When disposing of combustible materials, it is advisable to avoid mixing them with ordinary waste matter, but they should be disposed of in separate bins. Moreover, organizations should establish designated smoking areas to ensure cigarette ends do not cause a fire. If the smoke is exposed to smoke detectors, the fire alarm could be turned on. Firefighting equipment should be clear from any form of obstruction to make sure they are accessible when the need arises. Some workplaces lack proper equipment arrangement, and in the event of a fire, these items must be stumbled upon to get the firefighting equipment. What makes it worse is that some of these items are quite flammable. Electrical faults are also a major cause of the fire. Some are bound to happen, while others are caused by negligence. For instance, it is insane to leave any electrical appliance unattended. Additionally, workers should avoid overloading electric sockets beyond their supply ratings. If one has to use an electric appliance, he/she has to stay within until he/she finishes what he/she was doing with the gadget. Cracked electric cables can be disastrous, so electricians should repair them immediately because leaving them uninsulated could result in a fire if exposed to flammable substances. A qualified technician should repair faulty appliances immediately. Workers should not use faulty appliances because they can easily trigger a fire. Furthermore, a central electric power control unit should switch off power in the event of a fire. Additionally, a building that has heavy machinery requires proper ventilation. This is because poor ventilation can cause a lot of heat to accumulate in the chambers, resulting in explosions that could cause a fire. If gasoline powers such machinery, it should be refueled in an open-air space because refilling it in a confined location increases the chances of igniting a fire. Moreover, the machinery should be given some time to cool before refueling because the high temperatures within its compartment can ignite a fire. In case flammable substances spill on the floor, they should be wiped out completely. Such substances can be ignited easily, even with an increase in temperature in the room. All equipment should be switched off at the end of the day. This task should be assigned to someone who has expertise in handling electrical and mechanical equipment. In case a fire is detected early, all the employees should be evacuated from the house immediately and gathered at the designated fire assembly point. This is done to help in identifying individuals who need to be rescued. The assembly point should be at an open space at least 50 meters from the premises. During the evacuation procedure, no one should be allowed to use the elevator because it is likely to be stuck, possibly because of power failure. The alarm system should be turned on in order to sensitize all workers that they need to exit from the premises, and no one should be allowed to re-enter after exiting. Fire has consumed many people in the past simply because they went back into the building after a successful exit. A fire should be arrested before it builds up into huge flames. This can be done using an appropriate fire extinguisher. Appropriate here means that fire is categorized into various categories, and each group has its own unique type of extinguisher. For instance, a fire caused by electrical faults is different from a fire caused by flammable substances. Therefore, unless the appropriate extinguisher is employed, the fire will persist. Furthermore, the individuals using these extinguishers should wear protective clothing to shield them from injuries. In brief, all these instructions should be included in the company's fire emergency plan. Wainwright argues that such plans are supposed to be put in writing and displayed in an area that employees regularly visit to ensure they know what they are supposed to do in case of a fire. In conclusion, fire in workplaces should be avoided at all times because, besides the damage to property and loss of lives, there are people whose careers might be ruined by such incidences. Similarly, fire causes organizations to fall back as they struggle to recover the losses incurred. If a business premise catches fire, the employees should open all windows and doors before vacating the building. Any equipment that is on should be switched off because if it explodes, it will only escalate the fire. If you want to find more works like this essay on prevention of fire hazards and fire safety, head over to ivypanda.com. It has a collection of samples with thousands of submissions covering virtually all academic subjects.